Tomorrow at a graveyard in Southampton, a memorial will be unveiled to a Zulu hero and a campaigner against slavery. But Charles Maclean was neither English nor South African. He was a Scot, better known as John Ross. He was born and bred in Fraserburgh. And as Colin White reports, his story's been celebrated in film.
This is the man dubbed John Ross. It's based on his statue in Durban, South Africa. His remarkable life is told in this exhibition in his hometown of Fraserburgh.
John Ross! Get to my cabin!
And it's quite a life, retold in film and books in South Africa. He was shipwrecked there in 1827 at the age of 12.
He became friends with the Zulu, in particular King Shaka Zulu, the famous king of that time. And he undertook a journey of 600 miles to fetch very essential provisions and, more importantly, medicines to help save the lives of his fellow shipmates, which he did successfully, and for that he became a legend for all time in Zululand.
His experiences in South Africa and as a shipping master to the West Indies made him a lifelong opponent of slavery. In 1880 he died on a ship off Southampton. For almost 130 years, his grave has lain unmarked.
I think he was a hero because from the age of 12, he did his utmost to campaign for black liberty. Never backed down the loyalty to the African people. To spend a whole lifetime doing that, and then to come and be interred in an unmarked grave and not have a headstone seemed really quite sad.
But that's been put to rights, and perhaps now the name of John Ross will become as well known on his native shores as it is in South Africa. Colin White reporting Scotland, Fraserburgh.
A Fraserburgh boy who became a national hero in South Africa but was forgotten at home has finally been remembered. Charles Maclean rescued early settlers at Port Natal when he completed a 600-mile rescue mission aged just 12. Now a headstone has been placed on his unmarked grave. David Marsden reports.
This was how it should have been, civic leaders joining those remembering an extraordinary life. But this day has come late for Charles Maclean, a Fraserburgh adventurer completely forgotten for almost 130 years, at least in this country. 6,000 miles away, Zulu warriors never stopped paying tribute to him. For their tribes and the entire nation of South Africa, Charles Maclean is a national icon, but with a different name. An early biographer with a bad memory changed it to John Ross when he couldn't remember the real one. A legend was born, but a man forgotten.
Over there we have got statues, buildings, roads, bridges, and there's even a ship called John Ross named after him in his honour.
But nothing here.
Nothing at all in Scotland.
The man who would become John Ross was born in Fraserburgh in 1815 to a seafaring family. As a young boy, Charles Maclean played around these shores, having childish adventures at the smugglers' caves that are carved out under the rocks beneath the wine tower here. But at 10 years old, his father told him to get a job, and he was sent out there, where his real adventures began. His most famous was immortalised in a South African TV show, clips from which are being shown in an exhibition at Fraserburgh Heritage Centre. Shipwrecked at what was then known as Zululand, he walked 600 miles through uncharted territory to find food and medicine for survivors. His journey earned the respect of the Zulu King Shaka and saved the lives of early settlers in what became South Africa. He was just 12 years old.
At that time, of course, it was very much a hostile land. There were other tribes fighting. There was the wild animals, of course, there as well. He had experts with him, of course, but the journey itself was an incredible undertaking for a 12-year-old at that time, and that's why, you know, he's well remembered and honoured.
Maclean went on to become an influential opponent of slavery, but died a bankrupt, buried in an unmarked pauper's grave in Southampton. A headstone was unveiled there at the weekend, featuring the name he was born with and the name he was given. He will now be remembered by both. David Marsland, STV News.